This is the Cessna 441 Conquest II, an aircraft that can go to 35,000 feet, fly at 300 plus knots, burn 65 gallons per hour, and fly 2,000 nautical mile legs. What other prop jet can do that? The Conquest II is positioned at the top end of the turboprop market in performance. However, its modest price, low fuel consumption, and low operating costs make it competitive across the entire market of full-sized executive aircraft. It was actually the first turboprop airplane that Cessna made and was developed in 1974, with the first aircraft being delivered to customers in 1977. The new airplane was a great success in its time. It was initially developed from the Cessna 435 and was renamed the Conquest II in 1983. Why Conquest II? Well, a smaller aircraft had previously been marketed as the Cessna 425 Conquest I, hence this one having to be named the Conquest II. At the time, the Cessna 441 seemed an excellent alternative to a small jet, being much more economical and more accessible for piston pilots to convert to and fly. This proved to be the case for a while, and all went well. However, fairly early in, disaster struck, with elevator and trim tab problems causing a few 441s to break up in flight. The popularity of the new type plummeted, but only for a while. Later models managed to sort out this problem, enabling the aircraft to enjoy some success. But why is this aircraft seen by many as one of the best turboprops ever produced? Stay with us till the end of the video, because here is everything you need to know about the Cessna 441 Conquest II. Stepping inside, the 441 is nearly a fill-the-seats airplane. With lots of lard and luggage toward the rear of the airplane, CG has to be checked carefully, but the loading range is quite wide. The cabin dimensions are quite generous for an aircraft in its class. It boasts a length of 12.7 feet or 3.87 meters, a width of 4.5 feet or 1.37 meters, and a height of 4.3 feet or 1.31 meters. These dimensions provide a comfortable space for up to 10 passengers, though configurations typically seat 6 to 8 for optimal comfort. The average 441 can seat 8 people, 2 in the cockpit, 4 in club seats, and 2 in the additional full seat on the left rear side of the cabin and belted potty seat. The interior is often customized, but generally features plush, executive-style seating that is designed for comfort. The Conquest II utilizes soundproofing materials that significantly reduce engine and propeller noise, making the cabin one of the quietest among turboprops. Even with the maximum number of seats, there's a generous baggage area in the aft cabin, about 30 cubic feet and up to 500 pounds. The cavernous nose houses another 22.4 cubic feet of baggage area with a maximum load of 400 pounds. It's a big airplane. There is a lot of cubic space in both the cabin and baggage areas that could tempt those lacking caution and experience to exceed load limits. Yield not to that temptation. Aside from CG concerns, exceeding maximum loads can cause serious performance deterioration, especially in high-density altitude conditions. And finally, the cabin also features an array of amenities that enhance the flying experience. These include adjustable indirect lighting and climate control systems that maintain a comfortable cabin environment. Now let's step into the cockpit. The factory-installed Cessna autopilots on this airplane are, to be blunt, junk, and about 70% of the 441s still flying have them. They are unreliable analog dinosaurs prone to failure, and parts are hard to get. The cockpit represents the typical layout for the aircraft and the production period. The standard analog flight instruments are typical of the model range and consistent with an aircraft of this category and age, and they are supplemented with the Garmin GNS 530 GPS unit. Most 441s are flown single pilot, and you need a good autopilot to reduce pilot workload. Cessna figured this out eventually, installing Sperry SPZ 500s on the last 20 airplanes out the door. Retrofits are primarily the Rockwell Collins APS 65 or the STEC 2100. Some operators already made the switch when they installed RVSM altimeters, which are now required to fly above 28,000 feet. A complete avionics upgrade with an ancient panel will run about $400,000, and that gives you everything good: autopilot, XM satellite weather, RVSM, GPS comms, and traffic and terrain avoidance. The Aviation Alliant integrated glass panel system is also available. Owners lament that the airplane is underbuilt, with system shortfalls, including weak cabin pressurization. At its 6.3 psi max cabin pressure differential, the cabin is 10,900 feet at its service ceiling of FL 350. As the airplane's age and minor leaks start to add up, that figure is optimistic at best. At the 441's lofty cruise altitudes, where maximum efficiency is found, supplemental oxygen is a must, especially given the fact that the 441 can stay up high for 6 hours. Now let's talk about the engine, performance specifications, and how it flies. The Cessna 441 Conquest II is powered by a pair of Honeywell, formerly, and perhaps more popularly, known as Garrett, TPE 330 engines flat-rated at 635 shaft horsepower. The compact, lightweight, and powerful Garretts deliver envious performance, economy, and longevity. Cessna made many product improvements and retrofit kits available for the 441 during its 9-year production run, and the aftermarket added others. Most 441s have been converted at overhaul to the 1,000 shaft horsepower, flat rated to 635 shaft horsepower. 10 version of the engine, substantially increasing high-altitude climb rate and boosting cruise speed at altitude. The conversion typically is done when the original Garrett TPE 331 engines are timed out or need a midlife inspection. The cost is north of $500,000 for 2 engines. Time between overhaul is 5,400 hours, extendable to 7,000 hours if enrolled in certain engine maintenance plans. Conquest IIs were delivered with the 800 shaft horsepower, flat rated to 635 shaft horsepower. 8 version of the TPE 331, which delivered 290 kTAs in the high teens. Stainless exhausts are another popular option and cost around $5,000 per side. The original fiberglass exhaust area is prone to cracking. Next come the propellers. If your 441 hasn't been converted to 4-blade Hartzell propellers already, consider it. The 4 blades yield 2.5 inches more ground clearance, reduce cabin noise, improve the climb rate by 200 feet per minute, and add 4 to 5 knots of airspeed. 2 new props, installed, run about $65,000. National also offers winglets for the 441. Installation requires 8 to 10 days of downtime and painting costs $14,000. Thibodeau said pilots report speed gains of 3 to 5 knots, and that the winglets make the airplane more stable about the roll axis. The aircraft requires 2,500 feet, or 760 meters of runway to take off at sea level on a standard day. The engines allow a maximum rate of climb per minute of 2,435 feet, or 740 meters, and a maximum cruising altitude of 35,000 feet, or 10,670 meters. A 10-equipped 441 can exceed 310 kTAs at flight level 290. At FL 350, speed falls to an even 300 kTAs on 50 GPH. With 475 gallons of usable fuel, the Conquest II can cross the continental United States and land with plenty of reserve. On light wind days, it can even do the westbound crossing. Thankfully, the airplane is equipped with a potty seat, and finally, the aircraft has a maximum range of 2,200 nautical miles, which is 2,530 miles or 4,070 kilometers, and a minimum landing distance of 1,900 feet or 580 meters. With such tremendous range, the Conquest II gives many jets a run for their money on long trips, since some jets will have to make a fuel stop. If cabin load doesn't dictate otherwise, lots of cheap fuel can be carried into airports where fuel is pricey, saving an owner thousands. Not stopping is also a boon for overall safety and reduces cycles on all components. Now let's talk about the price and cost. The original price of the Cessna 441 Conquest II was around $1 million, but by the time the aircraft was discontinued in 1986, the cost of a new one had risen to an eye-watering $1.8 million. By 1998, the price was down to $1.5 million, and recent examples are generally a little below $1 million, although some well-maintained models still sell for up to the $1.5 million to $2 million mark. While the annual fixed cost is estimated at $300,000 to $500,000, the average hourly operating cost is estimated at $1,500 to $2,500. Thank you for staying with us till the end. Here are 2 videos you can watch next. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.